It's very difficult to build a team that believes in what you want to do. Teams can support what you want to do, but believe is a different thing. Good day, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm recording this on a Sunday and feeling a little spiritual today. So I thought, as I do Visualize with Vik, let me touch on a couple of things that are going through my mind right now. For those of you who enjoy what I do, please subscribe and also click on the notification button so you're updated every time we load something new. So I thought I'd talk about believing and supporting. You know, we've been talking about wishing for and wanting for, commitment and involved. But I thought today I'd talk about supporting and believing. The wind is blowing, we've had a lot of rain, and it's just nice to get out into the garden and just reflect on a couple of things. And I don't think what I'm going to talk about is too far from the difference between somebody wanting for you and wishing for you, or somebody who is involved in those who are committed. What I think I wanted to talk about with regards to supporting and believing is that I think there's a construct that we need to think about when we are relating to things that we do and how much others are involved in what we do, how much others partake in what we do. You know, it's very difficult to build a team that believes in what you want to do. Teams can support what you want to do, but believe is a different thing. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is what makes the difference? Well, one thing I'm learning very quickly about believing is that you need to submit. You need to submit to the unknown. So therefore, if you believe, you can't really have expectations and belief. You can have hope. And biblically, they talk about walking by faith and not by sight, which means that what you see can't be what you believe. What you hope for has to be what you believe, because what you see sometimes isn't even there. It's in the imaginary. The other thing is that supporting is not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes people can't see what you believe in. It's a belief that comes so deep within you that others can only support it, but you need to contextualize that. You need to understand that all they can do is support it as opposed to believe in it. And sometimes you can get emotionally caught up in the idea that somebody is not believing in what you're doing, but just supporting it. And that's because you've got bigger sight in terms of what you can see is going to happen, as opposed to bigger sight in terms of what's visibly available. And it's been a big thing for me to start understanding that there are some people who can believe in what I'm doing, and there are some people who can support what I'm doing. And I mustn't expect those who are supporting to believe, and I mustn't look necessarily with critical eye on the level of support that you're receiving. James Lawrence, who's done the 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 different states. He also recently just completed 100 Ironmans in 100 days. Tells a story that when he went around speaking to people about this objective that he wanted to set for himself, a lot of people, one, didn't believe. There were a lot of people who didn't support. But even in the closest members of his family, because what he was actually talking about was so improbable, so impossible, they couldn't quite grasp the extent to which he was going to be able to achieve this. So all they could do was support him, until as he progressed through what he was doing, that support translated and started transferring into belief. So belief is something that's inherent within you, but not necessarily something that everybody else is going to actually grasp. So when you go around telling people about some of your objectives, your ideas, your goals, your visions, don't be disheartened when some people look at you in a way that doesn't necessarily show a hell of a lot of commitment to what you're doing, or a hell of a lot of support in what you're doing, or even a hell of a lot of belief in what you're doing. Just understand that they have a journey that they're walking, and they're walking it very differently, and therefore not everybody is going to beat the drum of you believing in you. And that's made me feel a little bit better, because some of the visions that I have, even I sometimes have difficulty believing in. And understanding that anything that you do that has deep levels of belief in it requires you to walk by faith and not by sight. Because, faith is the substance of things hoped for. Now, biblically, they talk about that. Faith is the substance of things not expected, hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen, which means that you are not able to see it, but you believe it so deeply that you see it. But it's not necessarily visual to the naked eye. The manifestation of things that come from belief, and the manifestation of things that come from imagination or vision, are really deeply embedded in you. And the role that you must play is to believe in what you believe in. As difficult as that might sound, and as difficult as that might, or as strange as that might sound, it's the actual believing in what you believe in that is the hard work, and it's the translation of that that creates the manifestation. So we're going to spend our lives having to believe, and we're going to have to spend our lives also really drawing and attracting those that have the same kind of visions, but those that actually also believe. But that doesn't mean we discard those who want to support, those who only see an inkling of what it is that we're trying to do. Because over time, as we progress, they may also get onto the boat and beginning to be a little bit more conscious of what it is that we are, what we are trying to do. So yeah, that's the difference between belief and support, and to say that there is a distinction. There is a distinction between somebody who wishes for you, and there's a distinction between somebody who's wanting for you, and there's a distinction between somebody who is involved, and there's a distinction between somebody who's committed. And when you know those, it puts you at rest in terms of how you approach the different facets of those in people in relation to yourself. So that was Visualize with Vik, the Sunday afternoon. I hope that was useful to you. Just think about it and draw on it, and let's grow together in the learning of what's possible, and spend time in believing in what you believe in. Take care.